Hello, gorgeous business owners. Welcome back to another episode of Bold with Brooke, the podcast and place to be to learn the marketing and business skills you need to get the clients that you need and want to grow your business. I was so excited to get this episode over to my editor that I forgot to do my spoken intro. So you're going to see a change of clothes. I'm wearing something different. If you're watching this on video, if you're like, Brooke, I didn't even know there was video. I do put podcast episodes up on my YouTube channel as well. So you can go to boldwithbrooke.com/YouTube. If you're like, where the hell do I find that? Please join us. Not every single episode has a video, but a lot of them do. So come on over. Today's episode is all about 7 lessons in marketing from the marketing team behind the Barbie movie. I have been so excited to do these episodes for y'all. It's a little late. I admit it. The Barbie movie came out in July, right before I left for Mexico. I was in Mexico for 10 days. It was a very emotionally draining time in Mexico and at the same time restorative. Like, how is that even possible? I don't know, but it was. If you've ever had one of those vacations where you're like, that was amazing, but at the same time, I have so much to process, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. I came home, I got crazy sick for about 6 weeks. I had no voice. So the episodes had to wait, but it's out. And we are going to go into marketing specific lessons from the Barbie movie today, because if you did not see any of the partnerships or marketing things from the Barbie movie, you must have been living under a rock, because seriously, they were everywhere. We're going to talk all about these particular Barbie marketing lessons. And then next week, which is the one I recorded today, actually, we're going to talk about lessons specifically from the movie, because there were a lot of them. And that one is going to be a little more of a glimpse into my ADHD brain and all the things that happen when you're thinking about things way too much. So I am super excited to share this with you. Let's listen in. And as always, if you're like, I love this content, can you leave a review? I would so appreciate that. It's at boldwithbrooke.com/iTunes. Let's listen in to some marketing lessons from the Barbie movie. Hello there, gorgeous business owners. Welcome to Bold with Brooke, the podcast for creative business owners to learn the marketing and business skills they need to get more clients and design their lives on their terms so we can actually make a living doing what we love. Am I right? I am your host, Brooke Summer, and I'm an entrepreneur, educator, and champion of women, reminding them to embrace and step into their power. I'm bringing almost 20 years of business and marketing experience straight to you to help you get more clients and run a sustainable and successful business without burnout or overwhelm. Let's jump into today's topic. Welcome back, amazing business owners, to another episode of Bold with Brooke, the podcast and place to be to learn the marketing and business skills you need to reach your biggest goals. I am so happy to be back today after taking far too much time off. Well, at least for my own taste, because it wasn't even for fun. I was crazy sick. I had pneumonia and then a wicked sinus infection. And after 6 weeks of being sick, I finally have my voice back, even if it's a little scratchy. I have so many things that I want to share with you. And after some team stuff that went down, I think I might be ready to actually take guests again. I get hundreds of emails from people who want to be a guest on the show. Some of them are great, some of them not so much. So it might be something I'll be adding back in soon. If you are interested in being a guest, or you know someone that should be a guest, I would love to hear about it. But the secret word is glitter. So if you reference that, the process will go much faster. Do you guys ever include secret nuggets like that? I learned this years ago, especially when asking for referrals or for help, like in a business group, because so many people will just give you all their contact details without actually reading what you really need. This shows you exactly who read the details and who didn't, because you ask for that secret word, or you ask something specific like, what's your favorite color of glitter? What's your favorite flavor of gummy bear? Something silly like that. You'll know immediately who read the details and who didn't, especially for things like job postings, referrals, second shooting, anything like that. Anyway, just a little side note for you. So today we are going to talk all about the Barbie movie. Yep, I know. I'm a few months late, and I actually have 2 episodes about the Barbie movie, because right after the movie came out, I had a mastermind trip which just happened to be in the same season as whale shark season or I should say off of the Yucatan Peninsula. So it was quite the trip. I came back home. A week later, I was super sick. So I'm catching up and doing all the things. And I'm late, but I'm okay with that. Because while Barbie was a huge success as soon as it came out, there are still things that are happening today that are lessons that we can put into our own business. And before we go into details, I really want you to see the video of how I went to see this movie with my daughter and my husband's mother, because y'all, I took my bright pink studio robe, which is like the same color as this jacket that I'm wearing today. And I rocked it. Like, we kicked ass. My daughter and I both dressed in all pink, and you need to see it. It's on TikTok and Instagram at Bold with Brooke. So if you want to see that, go check it out. And let's go back to our regularly scheduled programming. The Barbie movie. Let's talk about it. It was so incredibly well marketed. And we're going to go through 7 marketing lessons from the Barbie movie and its launch, its release, and the marketing behind it. And really, whether you like the movie or not, whether you like the marketing or not, the reality is that there are so many amazing lessons in how this movie was marketed around the world. This was a worldwide marketing effort. This was not just a small thing. This was huge. And there are so many things that we can apply for ourselves. If you are working on a specific promotion or a launch in your business, like Black Friday is coming soon, y'all, using just one of these can give you a boost in your marketing. None of these lessons are new. And I'm going to put that out there. It's not that someone came up with something brand new, Barbie's marketing team doing innovative marketing things. Nothing was new, but they used them all together consistently and with such finesse that even choosing one can be a huge win for your own launch and business. Let's talk about the Barbie movie. As of September 4th, 2023, the Barbie movie is the highest grossing movie of the year worldwide at $1.4 billion at the box office. And I'm recording this a month after that number, but it was huge. It's the biggest ever female solo directed film, yay for the ladies, and then was released in IMAX format in September for 1 week only. Barbie is Warner Brothers' biggest film ever behind Harry Potter and was in the top 5 box office movies for 10 straight weeks. For anyone unsure about what those numbers mean, as a family that sees a lot of movies because we love going to the movies, we know that if a movie isn't well marketed, we'll have to go see it quickly because it will be removed from the theater pretty quickly. And there have been some movies that were amazing movies, but no one knew about them. And there were some after the fact that we saw and we're like, why didn't anyone ever talk about this movie? It was excellent. So movies move pretty quickly. Barbie's success was absolutely unique and not common, especially for movies that aren't already part of a much bigger franchise or group like Harry Potter or Marvel. And some could argue that Barbie is part of Mattel's empire, right? Because Mattel has a ton of toys. And that is true. But except for animated movies, which my daughter loves, and I do not, this movie was made and marketed for a much larger audience than any Barbie, movie or doll, has ever been before. Next week, in the next episode, we're going to go into lessons from the movie itself. And believe me, trying to write out those notes while watching was extremely funny. My daughter was like, "Are you okay?" And if you're curious what that looked like, you really should be following me on TikTok or Instagram at Bold with Brooke. But today, we're going to talk specifically about 7 marketing lessons that we can learn from and use in our own marketing strategies. All right, let's dive in. Number 1, collaborations and partnerships. If you did not see one of these partnership products, you must have been living under a rock. I don't know what else to tell you because these partnerships were wild. I saw a video on TikTok that cracked me up from a comedian, and she was talking about Barbie's marketing team basically accepting any licensing deals. And it definitely felt like that. Here is just a sample of a few of the marketing partnerships, collaborations, and licensing deals that the movie had around the time frame of the release. And some of these make sense in my own brain. Some definitely seem very odd, and a lot of them are still going. And this is October. First, some that seem to fit with the movie. Okay, this seems very Barbie-centric. We have shoes. We have Crocs, which is a little strange because there's kind of a joke in the movie about Birkenstocks versus heels. So we have shoes and Crocs and rugs and Pinkberry frozen yogurt and candles and fashion and hair accessories and nail polish and makeup and glassware and rollerblades. Although, why aren't they pink? That's another story. Floaties, we have Barbie Corvettes and cars and luggage and dog accessories and bus benches and dolls. And someone even created a full Barbie dream house in Malibu, complete with a light up dance floor and a slide to go downstairs. And now I have new life goals. It is bright pink. You can see it stick out on the hillside among the other homes. All of these seem to make sense, right? I mean, they kind of fit in with the movie. And then Barbie's team was like, yo, let's partner with others too, like Xbox, which kind of cracks me up because in my brain, Xbox equals gamer geeks. And I say that with love because I was one, but I definitely wouldn't imagine that Barbie fans are gamers. Although I guess I'm wrong because obviously Xbox saw a reason to partner with Barbie, and the Xbox Barbie console had a Barbie Dreamhouse look on top of it. So you could even put, if you had a Barbie, put the dogs on top of your Xbox. And they even had matching controllers from some of Barbie's famous outfits. Another one was Progressive Insurance. Even Flo was on board. Rugs, which, okay, maybe for the dream house. Rollerblades, we talked about that originally and how it does make sense, but at the same time, there's just one scene in the movie. I don't know. Even after the trailers kind of made more sense. Again, I wish they were pink and not yellow, but I digress. Pregnancy tests. Yeah, that seems a little strange to me, especially given some of the references in the movie. I'm going to try not to spoil it for you, but okay, we're going there. We're going with yay, ladies, and pregnancy tests are a must. We also saw lunchboxes and surfboards and boat cruises and toothbrushes. And that ad shows up for me all the time on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm this close to buying one, but I just got a new toothbrush and I really shouldn't get one just because it's pink, but I want to. Food Network even did a special Barbie themed episode for the Summer Baking Championship, complete with neons and fake milk. These Barbie movie partnerships and collaborations were insane and plentiful. They were everywhere. It seemed like there was no product that was untouched. And because of these partnerships, the opportunities for advertising were exponentially increased. Because now, not only is Mattel going to pay for their own ads to promote the movie and their own marketing budget, but every company that partnered with them is now going to be promoting that movie through those partnerships. So this means, and this is why this is important for smaller businesses, if you have, let's say, $1,000 marketing budget for something specific, you have a special set, a special promotion, a Black Friday, whatever it is, and you now partner with 10 different businesses to license or promote this, whatever it is, you are potentially increasing that marketing budget by 10 times the original amount. Now, is every partner going to promote it the way that you would? No, of course not. It's your thing. But it's beneficial to them too, because they want to capitalize on the movie's popularity and sell their own products. So it's a win-win for all parties involved. And if you've taken any of my marketing courses, whenever we talk about business partnerships, we're going to talk about how it's a win for everyone, how it's not just serving one party, but it really serves everyone. Partnering with other businesses that serve the same people can be extremely beneficial for your business. And if you're wondering what that can look like, I give you one of my favorite examples in episode 46. You can listen in at boldwithbrooke.com/046. But truly, that one is actually best watched on YouTube because of the visuals in what I show you in the marketing materials. So if you haven't visited my YouTube channel yet, check it out at boldwithbrooke.com/YouTube. So number one lesson in marketing the Barbie movie was collaborations and partnerships. Number two is inclusion and diversity. No, these are not just buzzwords for 2023 for people to maybe get in front of people that they wouldn't normally work with, despite what the silly alpha bros would have you believe. There are several people that disagree with this one, but as a larger woman, it was nice to finally see a movie that had at least a little bit of someone that looked like me. especially given the backlash that Barbie has seen throughout the decades for the body type and the body shaming. My daughter even has a plus-size Barbie doll, which is pretty freaking cool. Now, truly, the movie could have done better. It really could have. And I can talk on that for a long time. But it was a start in a way that we don't usually see when it comes to movies, especially movies with female leads. There was a new study on inclusion in August 2023 from USC's Annenberg Inclusion Initiative that showed just how rare that level of inclusion truly is, because only 34.6% of speaking parts were female in the top 100 box office hits from 2022. This is just from last year. We're not talking about 20 years ago. And while there are changes being made, we still have quite a ways to go. And Barbie was definitely a step in the right direction. There were larger women, differently abled women. There was even a woman dancing in her wheelchair, which was amazing. There were different skin colors, different types of women, and that even extended to the Kens as well. Barbies weren't the only inclusive ones. Kens had some in there too. And while it may not be a big deal for someone that isn't really in the movie or film industry, so you're not worried about being cast in those positions, we have to remember that as people that have been raised in this culture, seeing things on the big screen can really influence how we think about ourselves or what's available to us in a big way, especially for children. And when it comes to business, making sure that you include and show examples of who you work with is absolutely essential. For anyone that doesn't know, I was recently voted president of my Toastmasters Club, which is amazing. And I did a speech on inclusion recently, and it will be a podcast episode soon. But this is something that we cannot ignore as business owners. And truly, even non-business owners, we can't ignore this. We need to be adding people into our friend group so that we see other perspectives and we are listening to other perspectives other than what we have lived. If you are an artist that works with people, like a photographer or makeup artist or esthetician, showing only skinny white women on your website is alienating for so many people. People will only see what you show them. And it may be that you work with everyone. You're not only welcoming skinny white women into your studio or into your business, but if they don't see that, that's what they will assume. They're not going to assume that you work with everyone if you don't show that. Showing all body types, skin colors, ages, and more is a huge part of marketing and doing it well. And if you're not, you're missing out on a large segment of our population that you could potentially be working with. Now, I want to throw a caveat in here because I always have people that are like, oh, I'll just add that into my marketing. That sounds like a good idea, Brooke. Do not show these people if you're not skilled at working with them. For instance, if you are a hairstylist that is not familiar with how to work with certain types of hair, don't just put stock photos of that on your website and hope for the best. It is important that we are not just marketing to include people, but actually including them in our client base and our businesses. We'll talk more about this later, but I wanted to highlight this because the Barbie movie trailers, which is a huge part of their marketing, often showed several people who aren't usually represented in movies. And while it may have just been a happy accident, I kind of doubt that. Their marketing team showed some serious skills. They were very deliberate. And I think that this was just one piece of it that was very, very, very important. So number 2 is inclusion and diversity. Number 3, consistent branding with a specific end goal. If I walked up to 100 people on the street and asked what color was used to market the Barbie movie, I would bet 99 of them would know the answer, pink. And Barbie pink just happens to be my favorite color, which I lovingly call bright fucking pink, or for when my daughter wants to say it, we call it BFP, especially when she's at school. You can see I even wore my favorite pink lipstick to record this episode. So if you're listening in audio and want to see, find the video because it's Rihanna's Fenty beauty line. Absolutely amazing. I also have my pink branded jacket on because I was someone who used to hate the color pink. And if you're someone that hates that color, you were probably out of luck for a while when it came to commercials and marketing. I was that person. Seeing everything in pink used to drive me nuts. I would literally tell my husband all the time, not all girls like pink. But when my daughter was born, it became my favorite color. So I was not sad with all of the Barbie movie marketing. They even had pink billboards. that had just the movie release date on them. No other text, literally just a pink board with the date, because you didn't need the text. You knew just from the color. And I debated talking about branding in this episode. We're going to go there, but it really is a whole different topic for a whole different episode. This is a beautiful example of branding that speaks for itself, that led to a goal. It didn't have any text, and yet everyone who needed to know knew exactly what those billboards were for. And that is insanely powerful. Consistent branding is just one small piece of the puzzle. You'll remember I said consistent branding with a specific end goal, right? So when it comes to the Barbie movie, what was that end goal? To get people into the theater to see the movie. So let's talk about that. Why does it matter that they're going to the theater instead of watching at home? When the pandemic hit in 2020, several film companies had to think fast, and a lot of things changed for moviegoers, namely watching movies at home using streaming. My family and I don't include in that statement because we really miss the movie theater. And I was so excited that the first movie that we went back to see was Wonder Woman 84. Even if the movie wasn't amazing, it's okay. It was good. It was good. Ever since then, several film companies have complained that people don't want to go to the movie theater anymore because they're so used to watching at home. Again, I don't include my family and I in that, but I do know that it tends to be the norm. And the Barbie team wanted to turn that on its head. They wanted people in the theater to see the movie so that those numbers could be calculated. So remember the partnerships that we discussed? Several of them that I didn't discuss previously were specific to movie theater chains who offered very specific branded items like cups and popcorn buckets and large displays to get people back into the movie theater. And yes, if you really want them, you can buy them on eBay later at a 300% markup, or you could just go to the theater to see the movie. Really, if you're like my uncle who just loves movie theater popcorn, you can just walk in and get your popcorn and leave if they let you. Mattel and Warner Brothers knew what they wanted. They wanted to get people into the theater. And that pink was a call to beckon people there. As we already discussed, they weren't disappointed. This movie has generated over $1 billion in revenue. This consistent branding, and when I say this as it applies to your business, it's not just about one color, y'all. This is an example from the movie. It is essential when it comes to your business. And not only consistent branding, but with a call to action, an end goal, a bigger why. Why should someone care about your branding? Spoiler alert, it doesn't have to just be about what you do, your product, your service. It can be way bigger than that. But again, that's a whole different episode. Don't skimp on thinking about your overall brand. What does someone feel when they see your name, your business name, your colors, or any of your marketing pieces? What do they know about your business, what you do? What are people saying about you when you're not in the room? These are major pieces to consider when it comes to marketing and running a business, and they're very often ignored. So the third lesson from the Barbie movie is consistent branding with a specific end goal. Number 4, strategic planning and momentum. Y'all, the trailer, the official trailer, the teaser, if you will, to the Barbie movie dropped on May 23rd. Why does this matter? Well, it was directly before the Memorial Day moviegoers would be in the theaters, which is the unofficial start to summer and typically a pretty big movie weekend. A lot of big things come out that weekend, same as like Thanksgiving, Christmas, stuff like that. So it was big. And it was also 2 months before the movie came out. Now, do I think that you need to be promoting something 2 months before you drop details? Not necessarily. But your marketing, your products, your videos, your images, everything you're doing should be pointing to something specific. What is the end goal? What is the action that you want someone to take? Marketing a launch or promotion is not just one social post and you're done. Remember, on average, 2 to 6% of your audience will actually see that post. That's a really small percentage, y'all. So many people will just post once or twice on Instagram and then say marketing doesn't work. And every time I see it, I just chuckle and shake my head. Barbie's marketing runway was huge. If you've never heard that term, the runway refers to the time before the actual promotion or launch happens. So think of a runway for a plane. There is time and space that has to be available before that plane can actually take off. If my son was here, he would correct me, I'm sure, and tell me all of the details in his pilot speak before I would remind him that mansplaining is not attractive. But the bottom line is that there is preparation. There is a strategy. There is a goal and certain marks towards that goal. And all of those marks will start to gain momentum that is way undervalued. If you have something specific that you really want to see successful, create a plan for yourself. Be strategic in that plan. Don't just throw something against the wall and hope for the best. Do you know that your audience typically sees things late at night more than they do in the morning? Use that to your advantage. This doesn't mean that you have to be marketing constantly. You don't want to put 100 posts up and, again, just hope for the best. You can pre-schedule things, create partnerships, and more. I mean, just listen to this whole episode. It's literally a marketing plan. But create and stick to the plan. Can you change it? Can you add to it afterwards? Of course. This plan isn't some harsh checklist that must be adhered to under any circumstance. We are going to pivot and change things up when necessary, but you need to at least have a strategic plan to start with. So number 4 was strategic planning and momentum. Number 5, keep going, even after the official launch date. The Barbie trailer was released on May 23rd. The movie was released on July 21st, 2023, and most movies stay in the theaters for an average of 4 weeks before they're removed from the schedule. Based on that average, that means that the Barbie movie would have been marketed consistently before the release date, because the first weekend numbers are really important, and then until about August 21st, given that 4-week schedule, give and take. Then you might see more marketing around release to streaming, depending on the movie and who's streaming it. But Barbie kept going, even during and after the launch. It was even re-released in an IMAX format with additional scenes on September 22nd, which is very uncommon, and it only lasted for a week. And I'm a little salty that I didn't get to go see it because I was sick and my schedule didn't allow. But that's okay. Now that Halloween is coming up, we're going to see even more from the Barbie movie and their marketing team because of costumes. And I know this from experience because I myself have been looking for a weird Barbie costume dress in larger sizes unsuccessfully. How many of us have launched a promotion or a product and then we get busy with that product and the clients that came in, so we stop marketing because our attention is elsewhere. And then a month later, we're like, shit, we don't have any clients. We should start marketing again. We go back and forth. We market a lot and then we do none. And then we market a lot and then we do none. And we wonder why we're in this feast and famine mode. It is absolutely imperative that we keep the momentum going, even once we're in the thick of it. This is not easy to do, but it has become increasingly easy given scheduling tools, especially for marketing channels like social media and emails. Pre-schedule those things so that you're still talking about it even after the release date. Do you have a deadline that someone needs to book with you by? Talk about it and remind people of the deadline. I promise you, people sign up last minute. It happens all the time. Do you have a limited number of spots or products? Remind people. I just did a video about this on TikTok. I promise you, no one is thinking about you and what you're saying near as much as you think they are. They are wrapped up in their own lives. So keep going, keep marketing, even after that release date, even after the launch date, with reminders, with details. You can even share updates on how it's going or behind the scenes. The Barbie movie had a very successful first weekend. You better believe your ass that they were going to start talking about that later. See the movie that everyone saw last weekend. They are sure as hell going to be talking about that later. No matter what's going on, keep going. Behind the scenes, updates, details, reminders, end dates, deadlines, limited availability. Don't make shit up if it's not real. Don't say, there's only 2 spots left when there's really 20. That's desperate. Don't do that. But when it comes to marketing, keep going. Number 5 was to keep going even after that launch date. Number 6, having a strong purpose and aligned why, even if it pisses some people off. When I was looking for examples of this particular lesson, it was a lot. I was laughing a lot, not going to lie. This episode took some time to prepare because people were pissed. Okay. There are so many TikToks about the Barbie movie and Instagram, whatever, news pieces, specifically from men, and they were so funny. One of them that I remember in particular was a dad of adult daughters who watched and said that this movie was incredible and showed that women absolutely know what men love and want, and we as men need to start listening. Now, I'm paraphrasing there, but you get the idea. His video was a glowing review of the movie, but not all of them were. There were some people who were upset about a map that's shown very briefly in the movie and how it might anger certain political powers. There were people that called it man-hating, which is hilarious given that it put men in a position that women have been in for literally centuries. Some politicians even got into the game with nasty tweets, upset that the word patriarchy was used unironically. Kaylin Bayron on Twitter said, "Did you dislike how Ken was portrayed? Did it make you uncomfortable to see his identity tied solely to his perceived romantic interest and that he was only validated when seen through her gaze? You're really close to realizing something big, sweetie. Keep going." The backlash was severe, but so was the success. For every person that hated the Barbie movie, there were several people that loved it. And the numbers don't lie. Over $1 billion later, the overall message behind the Barbie movie obviously resonated with a lot of people, and the people that hated it still saw it. They were padding those numbers even more. What is your overall why? Why do you care about what you're doing? And when I walk my students through this, I can promise you we go way deeper than, I want to empower women. Can you imagine if Greta Gerwig said that about this movie? Like they interviewed her and all she said was, well, I really want to empower women. No, she would never say that because there's so much more to it. There is a running joke with my students that when I'm working with you on your big why, bring some Kleenex because you're probably going to cry. Not because I'm mean, not because I'm breaking you down, but because it's really an internal journey to figure out why you're doing what you're doing, and it will often involve some self-reflection and tears. The Barbie movie had a bigger why and a bigger message behind it. And even my husband, and for anyone that knows my husband, you know what a big deal this is, went to the movie because my daughter asked him to, and he enjoyed himself. I'm just going to pause a moment for anyone that knows my husband. Collect your thoughts for a moment because you know what a big deal that is. One of my favorite tweets about the movie was from Janelle Como on Twitter. She said, "Girl, are you the Barbie movie? Because wow, a lot of men are angry that you weren't created specifically to appeal to them." If that doesn't share a bigger why, I don't know what will. You need to be sharing your why, the bigger reason behind what you do, and don't hide it. Yes, it's going to piss some people off. Yes, it's going to bring in the haters and the trolls, but damn, if you're not okay with that, are you really okay with having the size and revenue and business that you claim to want? And when I say that, it's not a scathing remark toward anyone listening because I'm telling myself that too. And I tell myself that regularly. We have to be okay being authentic in our message, sharing our bigger why so that we can attract the right people and repel the wrong people. And with that comes the trolls, the jerks, and everything in between. And we have to be okay with that. So number 6 was having a strong purpose and aligned why, even if it pisses some people off. Number 7, the final marketing lesson from the Barbie movie. And to be completely transparent, I had 8. I put 1 in next week's episode. So number 7 is content marketing. We're going to be a little more specific and say, don't forget the storytelling. We all know that there is marketing like showing the benefits of a product or service, telling some why that service or product is better than the others, why they should hire you. Look at all these features. Look at all this amazing stuff. Look at all the bonuses and the benefits. And that's true. And there are so many methods to this, but one that way too many small business owners ignore, and the Barbie movie mastered, is content marketing through storytelling. The core of the Barbie movie was the doll that's been around for a very long time. Our grandmothers had Barbies, but that doll has had its own controversy. The movie had to be appealing to older girls and their moms, and by older, I mean like preteenish, and their moms and their grandmothers too. They had to include certain parts of the origin of Barbie, why it was such a scandalous option in a world of baby dolls for girls, and how Barbie changed through the years. And personally, I loved the addition of Rhea Perlman. That was absolutely amazing. The headline for the movie says it all by itself. The headline is, "She's everything. He's just Ken." That tells us what the movie is really about and makes us curious to know more. What exactly do they mean by that? Even the haters are going to be like, what do they mean by that? That's not okay. The Warner Brothers president of global marketing, Josh Goldstein, did an interview with Variety about some of the strategies behind marketing the movie and talked about a breadcrumb strategy to share little elements of the movie to make people curious and create conversations. Specifically, they used little bits of the story that they shared to entice people to see the movie. And the trailer even gave some of the opening narration by Helen Mirren, challenging the idea that girls have to play with baby dolls. Quite frankly, that alone probably enticed a lot of women to see the movie, which leads me to my next point. This content marketing, your marketing that you're doing needs to be shareable, because I promise you that when women saw that trailer, they were immediately sending it to friends and inviting them to see the movie. And what's amazing is that by including stories that are family friendly, they expanded their audience immensely. As a mom to an 8-year-old, I looked up all the movie details and parent guides ahead of time because with a PG-13 rating, you never really know what that's going to look like. I wanted to know if I would be upset that I took my daughter or if I would be happy that I brought her with me because she really wanted to see it. When I saw that one of the big red flags was, quote, sexual assaults, because a guy slaps Barbie's behind and then she punches him in the face, I was like, of course my daughter will see this at least once, if not 2, 3, and 4 times. And I know that I'm not alone in that. Barbie's bigger why was shared in all of the little stories leading up to its release, and we were so ready for that movie. In your own business, what are little pieces that you can share in your marketing? As a boudoir photographer, this can be hard for me because some of the stories behind why I do what I do are not my stories to share. But I have shared little pieces without names, without identifying details or images. My clients are okay with that because it's important to me that women understand the bigger picture, that it's not just about images or looking pretty. I want them to know more about what I do, my client stories, and who the hell I am, because ultimately that's going to show them why they should hire me and not someone else. It is time to include storytelling in your marketing if you're not doing so already. And I don't mean sharing your life story. This does not have to be a 2-hour movie about your life. Well, I was born on a cold night in December. No, we don't need any of that. Just share little things that matter to you, little stories, your background, things that are important to you that will make your potential clients raise their hand and say, yes, me too, girl. Because how many of us have been assaulted, just like Barbie, and wanted to punch someone in the face and did not? That story alone made me a hell yes for this movie, and I was already a yes for the movie. Marketing is absolutely essential when it comes to running a business, and content marketing is a big piece of that, a huge piece of that. So we need to start sharing those little stories. Number 7, content marketing. Don't forget storytelling. So as a little recap, as we near the end, number 1, when it comes to 7 marketing lessons from the marketing of the Barbie movie, number 1 is collaborations and partnerships. Number 2, inclusion and diversity. Number 3, consistent branding with a specific end goal. Number 4, strategic planning and momentum. Number 5, keep going even after the launch date. Number 6, having a strong purpose and aligned why, even if it pisses some people off. And number 7, content marketing, including storytelling and those short stories. Marketing is non-negotiable. It's so funny to me when people say, oh, I run a business, but I don't really like marketing. How are you telling people about your business? Because that's what marketing is. It is 100% essential. Marketing and sales are non-negotiable skills when it comes to running a business. And the Barbie movie marketing team absolutely nailed the marketing. Even if you are not the ideal audience, chances are you saw at least 1 or 2 of the product partnerships because they were everywhere. There are so many lessons in this marketing that we can apply to our own businesses. And if you're unsure what this looks like for yours, and you're like, Brooke, this all sounds great, but what the hell do I actually do with this information? I want to invite you into Bold Marketing Academy. It will be opening again in November. complete with new courses, new payment options, and more. And it is a community where you can not only learn the skills to market your business, but you'll also get the coaching and accountability that goes with those skills. So you can actually do the things that you need to do. Because how many of us have signed up for things and then we don't actually take action? If you want to know more, head on over to Bold Marketing Academy, sign up for the waitlist. We are going to do a free class on email marketing, maybe others too, beforehand. So even if you can't join right now, I promise you're going to want to start incorporating email marketing into your overall marketing strategy. If you loved this content and you're like, Brooke, this was amazing, can you do me a huge favor and just tiptoe on over to iTunes and leave a review? If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a review, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever we do on YouTube. You can go to boldwithbrooke.com/iTunes. Go ahead and pause. I'll wait. Welcome back, because those reviews are what allow us to bring in amazing guests. I'm so happy to have been Amazon's featured podcast, along with being one in the top 3% of podcasts on marketing in the world. And I'm so passionate about helping you move your business forward. July's trip with my mastermind was a huge eye-opener for me on where that passion comes from and what I haven't been sharing. So that will be an episode coming up soon, I'm sure. But until then, don't forget to subscribe, leave that 5-star review so I can keep this marketing and business content coming your way. The podcast is free. Those reviews are like a little podcast currency, a thank you. And we so appreciate all of them. I would love to know some of your biggest aha moments or takeaways. You can share them in the community at boldwithbrooke.com/community, which is our little cozy corner of Facebook, or take a screenshot and tag me on social at boldwithbrooke, all one word. Your business is just one way that you can move through the world and affect and impact people around you in the way that you choose. It's time to step into that power and own it fully, including marketing your business to get the clients you want and need to reach your biggest goals. I can't wait to see what you do with your business and how you change the world, because what you do matters. I love you. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me today and listening in. You can find all of the show notes for this and every episode over at boldwithbrooke.com/podcast, where you can also find all of the links or resources mentioned. I can't wait to work with you. Have an amazing rest of your day.